Good morning, all. So continuing until tomorrow, right? So today, the surah and the verse of the Quran today is Surah 11, verse 85, right? One of my favorite verses from the Quran, right? Surah 11, verse 85. O my people, give full measure and weight in justice, and do not deprive the people of their due, and do not commit abuse upon the earth, spreading corruption. Right? So yesterday, it ties in with yesterday's message actually. Right? We talked about leaving a mindset of full 100% capitalism, right? Meaning that you do not take capitalism to the full extreme, meaning that is your sole driving motive is for personal profit, right? Personal, PROFIT, that profit, personal profit, right? You do not make making money your sole driving force in life, right? And if you have to do that, right, you do it for the purpose of helping others, right? So that's one. That's on the capitalist end, right? Now we are taking this verse now, Surah 11, verse 85, into consideration and given full measure to both ideologies. So yesterday we talked about capitalism. Today we will talk about communism, right? Meaning that government own 100% government run. A society in which the government runs everything or controls all the access to resources, right? A society in which that is what essentially communism is a society in which, or a world in which government owns and controls all access to resources, right? Now, this could have the same implication, the same negative implication as capitalism does, right? And it often does because it is the same control being implemented, right? Your driving sole driving motive in this life is profit, making profits, right? Is equivalent to you having that kind of financial or material control or power as government is running the entire society is equivalent to the same measure of control, because you have access to resources, you have access to finances, you have, or you believe you have the ability to control others in the world, or control people, control resources, control technology, control everything, right? So this control is what we are trying to get away from and move into a sovereign society, right? This control is what we are trying to get away from, whether the control is materially through religion, right, through any of technology, any of these means, right? So that was a conversation on capitalism yesterday. Today, right, in accordance with the verse and given full measure and weight and justice and not depriving people, right? So we're talking about government control now, right? Government control, right? And there's another verse in the Quran which speaks about retaliation against it, right? Meaning that you are in a position where you are being abused by government or anybody in control, meaning capitalism, as we talked about yesterday. Today we are talking about government control, right? So whether you are being taken advantage of, abused, or being subject to corruption by either capitalism or communism, right? It is, according to the Quran, your duty, right? Your role, right? Your duty, right? To stand up against and retaliate, right? The Quran says that, the book says that it is your duty to retaliate, right, against such forces of corruption, right? Meaning, do the necessary, right? Stand up against it, speak out against it, remove it, right? Remove any force of corruption, right? Remove any force of spreading abuse and corruption upon the earth, right? So, O my people, give full measure and weight in justice, and do not deprive the people of their due, and do not commit abuse upon the earth, spreading corruption, right? So, those who have, and I repeat, right, until tomorrow, the last day I'll be saying this, those who have the access to resources, right, whether it's government control, whether it's people who back the government as in a capitalist enterprise, so on, right? Both is the same thing, right? You have resources, you have access to resources. It is your responsibility and your duty to ensure, right? To ensure, right, from the top level, be an example, be an example, be an example, right? It is your duty A lot of you all are older than I am. I'm only 35 years old. There are a lot of people who come from the richest bloodlines, richest families in the world, right? Richest families in the world, richest families in the world, richest nations in the world, richest prime ministers, richest presidents in the world. Be an example. Be an example. Be an example, right? It is your duty, right, to ensure that corruption and abuse is not spread upon the earth, right, as the book says, right? So we move on to the third verse tomorrow, which I don't know what it will be. It will come to me, right? So have a good day, everybody.